May I? I can't leave anything to chance either.
Today, we're talking about the most hated and most misunderstood character in the entire Vampire Diaries universe, Rebekah Mikaelson. For over a decade, fans have called her every name in the book. The ultimate family doormat, a walking red flag, a 1,000-year-old teenager with zero character development. They say she's nothing but a combination of the two worst tropes. The obsessive family slave and the hopeless romantic who will throw everything away for any guy who gives her a crumb of attention. But here's the thing that no one talks about. Rebekah Mikaelson is not a flat, badly written character. She is the most human, most tragic, and most psychologically complex character in the original series. Those two traits that everyone hates her for are not flaws. They are two sides of the same coin, both born from the exact same trauma that defined her entire 1,000-year life. Today we're breaking down why Rebekah's so-called family slavery and love brain are not signs of bad writing. They are the most realistic and heartbreaking parts of her entire story. Let's start with the big one, the family slave accusation. Everyone says Rebekah has no spine. She lets Klaus walk all over her. She forgives him every single time, no matter how many times he betrays her, kills her lovers, or daggers her for decades. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. But no one ever asks why. And the only thing that kept them alive was the vow they made. Always. And forever. This wasn't just a cute family slogan. This was a blood contract, a survival pact. Any one of them left the family, they would die alone, hunted by Marcel, or any of the hundreds of enemies they had made over the centuries. And as the youngest sister, Rebekah never had a choice in this. From the day she was born, her identity was defined by her brothers. Elijah saw her as the pure, innocent sister who needed to be protected. Klaus saw her as his only possession, the only thing in the world that was truly his. No one ever asked her what she wanted. No one ever saw her as anything other than Mikaelson's little sister. And here's the brutal truth. Every single time Rebekah tried to leave the family, she failed. She tried to run away with Marcel in 1919. Klaus burned New Orleans to the ground and daggered her for 52 years. She tried to start a new life in Mystic Falls. Klaus showed up and destroyed everything. She tried to be human. She tried to have a normal life. But every single time, the world came after her because she was a Mikaelson. So yeah, she kept going back to the family. Not because she was weak, but because it was the only place she had ever been safe. Klaus was the worst brother in the world. He was abusive, controlling, and cruel, but he was also the only person in the entire universe who would never actually kill her. His obsession with her was a prison, but it was also a shield. Everyone else in her life had left her or betrayed her, but Klaus was always there, even when he was the one hurting her. That's not family slavery. That's trauma. That's 1,000 years of learning that the only thing you can count on is the monster who shares your blood. Now let's talk about the other big complaint, the love brain. Everyone makes fun of Rebekah for falling in love with every guy who looks at her twice, for throwing away her family, her power, her immortality for any random man who gives her a little bit of kindness. And yeah, she does that. But again, no one ever asks why. Rebekah Mikaelson has lived for 1,000 years. She has seen empires rise and fall. She has killed thousands of people. She has more power than almost anyone in the world. But there is one thing she has never had, a normal life. She was turned into a vampire when she was 17 years old, forever frozen as a teenager. She never got to go to high school. She never got to go to prom. She never got to graduate. She never got to get married. She never got to have kids. All the things that normal people take for granted are things that Rebekah will never have, unless she gives up being a vampire. And that's what every single one of her relationships was about. She didn't fall in love with Stefan because he was handsome. She fell in love with him because he treated her like a normal girl, not like the dangerous original vampire, not like Mikaelson's little sister. He took her to the movies. He danced with her. He told her she was beautiful. And for one night, she got to forget who she was. She didn't fall in love with Matt because he was perfect. She fell in love with him because he was human. He was the only person who didn't fear her, who didn't want anything from her, who just liked her for who she was. With Matt, she got to be a normal teenage girl. She got to go to school. She got to have a boyfriend. She got to have the life that was stolen from her. She didn't fall in love with Marcel because he was strong. She fell in love with him because he was the only person who ever dared to stand up to Klaus, the only person who ever tried to save her from her family. Every single time Rebekah fell in love, she wasn't falling in love with the man. She was falling in love with the life that he represented. Every relationship was an escape, an attempt to run away from the identity that had been forced on her. And that's why every single one of them failed. Because no matter how much she wanted it, she could never escape being Rebekah Mikaelson, the original vampire, the monster, the sister of Klaus. The men she loved could never protect her from her family. They could never protect her from the enemies that came with the Mikaelson name. And eventually, every single one of them either left her, betrayed her, or died. That's not love, brain. That's grief. That's 1,000 years of longing for something you can never have. It's easy to judge her from the outside. But imagine living for 1,000 years and never once getting to be yourself. Never once getting to have the life that everyone else gets to have. Wouldn't you grab onto any chance you got, even if you knew it would end badly? And that's what makes Rebekah such a great character. She is full of contradictions. She is one of the most violent and dangerous characters in the entire series. She can slaughter an entire village without blinking an eye. She can torture people for fun. She can be just as cruel as Klaus. But she is also the most vulnerable, the most emotional, the most human. She cries when she is hurt. She gets angry when she is betrayed. She gets excited when she is happy. She feels everything more deeply than anyone else. She spends her entire life fighting for freedom, but she is terrified of being alone. She hates Klaus more than anyone in the world, but she also loves him more than anyone. She has spent 1,000 years trying to escape her family, but she would die for any one of them. A lot of people say that Rebekah has no character development, but that's not true. Her development is not about becoming stronger or more powerful. It's about learning to love herself, learning to stop defining herself by her family, and learning to finally live for herself. And that's exactly what she gets in the end. When Klaus and Elijah die, she doesn't die with them. She doesn't stay and take over the family business. She leaves with Marcel. She finally gets the life that she has always wanted. It's not a perfect ending. She still has to live with the trauma of 1,000 years. But it's her ending. She finally gets to be Rebekah. Not Mikaelson's little sister. Not the original vampire. Just Rebekah. So the next time you see someone calling Rebekah a family doormat or a love brain, remember this. She is not a badly written character. She is a realistic portrayal of what trauma does to a person. She is what happens when you take a little girl and trap her in a nightmare for 1,000 years. When you take away her identity, her freedom, and her chance at a normal life. Her flaws are not mistakes. They are the point. She is messy. She is broken. She makes bad decisions over and over again. But that's exactly why she is so relatable. That's exactly why so many people love her, even if they don't want to admit it. She is the only character in the entire Vampire Diaries universe who feels like a real person. She wants what we all want. To be loved, to be seen, to have a normal life. And even after 1,000 years of pain and betrayal, she never stops hoping. That's not weakness. That's courage. Let me know in the comments what you think about Rebekah. Is she your favorite original, or do you still think she's overrated? And don't forget to like and subscribe.